Tummy's full? You know, Rick, you good?
I'm great.
It's my time now. Okay,
Okay.
switch it out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Everybody doing good? So, thank you for coming out again. I appreciate it. Gosh, it's been, I think, 8 years now. 8 years we've been doing this. Every time we do this, I get an update, but I forget if it's 8 years or 8.5 years or whatever. But I just appreciate you guys keep coming out. So, going to talk to you a little bit tonight about something that we all have inside of us, but we fail to use often, quite often. Everybody's familiar with Willy Wonka, right? Who likes chocolate, right? Who likes chocolate? I know the girls do. I know the girls do. Guys, come on, you can admit it. You like chocolate, right?
They'd be lying if they.
Right. So everybody knows the story of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? You know, everybody, they give out these it was 5 golden tickets wrapped in the bars, the Wonka bars, and through the whole town. If somebody got to go, 5 people got the golden ticket, they could they go visit the chocolate factory, and then there was an ultimate winner, and we all know who won. You know, Charlie, and then Charlie won it, right? So the thing I'm thinking about when I talk about that is there was 5 tickets wrapped up in this really cool paper, right? Now I go back and I think about each one of us. When we were born, we got wrapped in our own skin, right? And that's that nice paper that comes, you know, or we're packaged in that nice paper, right? But what's inside of us, it's not 5 golden tickets, it's out there. There's a golden ticket in each and every one of us. Every person that's out there has a golden ticket within themselves. The problem is they go through life and they forget to unwrap it. They forget to open up their own candy bar. They forget to open up who they are, right? And why is that? Why are we afraid to open up to who we are? Because we're too busy worried about what the other person might think. We're too busy about trying to be somebody else. We're too busy trying to reach somebody else's goals and not our own, right? And why is that? Why is that? Anybody? Why do we do that? Huh? Come on, think. I mean, I know you got an answer. Why do we do that? Insecurity is one thing. What else? Fear, right? But why don't we just want to be ourselves? What's so hard about that, right? It's when we grow up as kids, we're born, right? We come into this environment called society, right? And as guys, this is hard, especially for guys. We grow up, we're 6, 7, 8 years old, and then we get into our adolescence, and we can't show our feelings, right? It's not cool for a guy to show their feelings, right? And so what are they holding back? Who they truly are, right? So that golden ticket that each and every one of us has inside of us, I call it a golden ticket, a golden key. It's called transparency. It's just being transparent, just being who you are, right? It was back in, gosh, I'm thinking about how old I am now. It's 13 years ago. I went to a conference, right? And I grew up in an environment in the city, 1 of 7 kids. I had to go outside, and I had to be a tough guy. I couldn't show people how I felt or that I hurt or, you know, somebody bruised my feelings or whatnot. I couldn't do it because I was a sissy if I did, right? So I go to this event about 13 years ago, and this guy starts talking about this word, transparency. And I'm like, okay, I get, you know, you see through something, it's clear, you see through that glass, see through that wax paper, or that clear paper, whatever it is. But then he started talking about when people are who they are, that's more attractive than people who are they're not. Because we try to be somebody we're not because we want to be what? Accepted. You sit down. Go on, Kim. Everybody say hi to the camera. This is Kim. Go on, Kim. Hey, Kim.
Totally not what I want.
I'm good. Go. You got a seat over there next to your husband. Go ahead. Smile. You're on camera. So we grow up in that environment. Like we got to be accepted. We have to be cool, right? We have to be somebody we're not. So we fail to unlock that door that's inside our own hearts. Every day we walk around and we're just afraid to be who we are. So we got to go out and we just got to be who we're supposed to be. So like I said, when I was younger, man, I was afraid to do that. I go to this conference and the guy's talking about being transparent. I'm like, it allowed me to have a lease on life. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to tell people, you know, how you feel that they hurt you or whatnot. And I can tell you my life's gone in such a different direction since I was okay with that. I'm a crier. I'll tell you right now, I'm a crier, you know. And I used to be scared to death to show that, you know. I like I think I spoke about this before. Everybody know who William Wallace is, right? Sir William Wallace. Nobody knows who that is? Come on, Braveheart. Braveheart, right? And what was William Wallace doing? What was his mission? What was his mission in life? What was his mission? Freedom, right? And what did he want to do? He wanted to free the people, his country, to have that, their own land, live their lives, right? And what was he willing to do? He was willing to die for his freedom, right? So when when I think about that movie, I think about every person I come into contact with. I think about myself, and I ask myself the question: I'm not going to go out there and die for my country, but am I willing to die for myself? Am I willing to die of the false self that I portray every day to be who I truly am? And I'll ask everybody here the same question. You get up in the morning, right? The first thing you got to think about, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to please this person, I got to please that person, I got to do this for that person, and do this, right? And we're thinking about that, and then all of a sudden we're thinking, okay, I got to put my game face on. And a lot of times that game face is not your face, it's somebody else's face, right? So you got to get up in the morning and say, am I willing to die of that false self to be who I truly am, right? So about 2 years ago, I was in it was a leadership conference. It was a leadership meeting or group, and I was in a group of 6 people. And this guy says, a lot of times we go to networking events, where we're at right now, and he says, we go to these networking events, and people pass out a business card, and they talk for a few minutes, and then they leave, and they say, well, I met 5 people. Did you really meet 5 people, or you just exchanged cards, right? So what really happened there? So during the event, the leadership conference I was at, the guy was talking about writing a poem. And I'm going to read a poem to you, right? And he said, take 20 minutes, right? Take 20 minutes. He gave us a piece of paper. And the title of everybody's poem was exactly the same. Come on in, Suzanne. Here's another one, camera. Here we go. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, how are you?
Say hi to the camera. Hello. Good. Your hubby, he's over there. Go ahead, Susan.
We need some women over here.
So anyway, the title of everybody's poem was titled "I Am," right? Because when we meet people, we should really tell them who we are. A lot of times, hey, what do you do, Joe? Joe, what do you do?
Travel agent.
And what normally you're going to ask, if you just met me, what are you going to say next?
What do you do?
Well, I sell real estate, Joe, and then maybe that's the little small talk I said in a conversation. But I'd like to really get to know Joe. But Joe might not open up unless I share with who I really am, right? So I'm going to read this poem, and it's called, the title of the poem is called "I Am," okay? And by the way, this will be in the book that I'm currently writing, right? I pulled it right out of the transcripts, right? I pulled it right out of it. So the poem's called "I Am." So say I come out and I meet you guys for the first time, and I want to tell you who I am. So I start out by saying, I am from a higher power. I choose to call him God. I am from all his descendants, all the way down the line until 2 people, Loretta and Marshall, also known as Ricky and Lucy. And for those who know Ricky and Lucy, Paul knows, right? My father, he's Italian, but he got my mother pregnant 10 times, so we called him the Latin lover. And my mother had this long, gorgeous red hair, so we called her the wacky redhead. You know, so we called them Ricky and Lucy. I'm from an Italian immigrant and a redhead-haired German. I'm from a family of 7 children growing up initially in a 2-bedroom house in Baltimore City. I'm from an age where I never heard the words, I love you, from my father until I was 34. Therefore, I'm from a lower self-esteem upbringing. I'm from a devout Catholic mother. I'm from beginning my work career at age 11, from buying my first pair of Jack Purcells to buying my first car at age 16, my '69 Ford Fairlane. I'm from a competitive family because I always fought to get what's mine and keep it. I'm from paying my own tuition through high school and college. I'm from FAU, where I played baseball and became a man. I'm from AC/DC, Def Leppard, and Ozzy Osbourne. Now I'm from Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Matt Kelly, and more. I'm from the field of dreams, the baseball field, which is a metaphor for life for me. I'm from the 5-pound block of cheese we waited for every week, or from social services when we struggled financially. I'm from a motivation to be all I could be because of where I came from, and have struggled through the school of hard knocks. I'm from being a dad at age 17 and to being a grandfather at age 43. I'm from always wanting the things to be about me, and now wanting things and my motivation to always be about impacting and improving the lives of others. I'm from a world of abundance, wisdom, experience, and knowledge. I'm from a fire that burns within me to reach my full potential, to be all I can be. I'm from a family now of Debbie, my wife, Crystal, Robbie, and Amanda, my children, Bobby, my son-in-law, Karina, my granddaughter. I'm from being a mentor and a coach. I'm from a business owner and a real estate team of 5 to an inspiring speaker of thousands. I'm from all that life is. I am who I am. Who are you? Ask yourself that question, right? Who are you? Who do you want to be? Who do you choose to be, right? I was just, Amen, and I were just at a Tony Robbins event, right? And yes, we walked on coals. We walked on about 12 to 15 feet of fiery coals, right? And that wasn't the highlighted event. The highlighted event, it was learning how to break your limiting beliefs, that limiting, that low self-esteem, self-talk. You know, and I think about that event, I think about this poem. Who do I want to be? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be you, or do you want to be somebody else? You know? So he took us to a place. He took us to a place where he broke us down to the thinking of the worst where we were, you know. All the rejection, maybe, all the things that we wish we would have done, the resentment. And he took us to a place that was really painful, right? But then he took us to our highest highs to celebrate who we could be if we choose to be who we are, you know. And he finished it up with this line. He said, stop living the lie and start living the truth. Live who you're supposed to be and don't let anybody take it from you. So when you leave here tonight, think about who you are and not who somebody else is, not somebody else wants you to be or thinks you should be. I'm a guy who struggled for a long time worrying about what other people think. And I still do, you know. And did I talk about Darren Hardy last time we were here? Let me give you this stat and we'll end with this. Darren Hardy's another motivational speaker, and I was at one of his events and he wrote this book. And he talks about this stat. This is a mind-blowing stat for me. And he says, years ago he had a buddy who worked at Newsweek, and he presented this stat. He said, how many people do you think cry at a funeral? Now, that's taking the Italians out of it, obviously. How many people do you think cry at a funeral on average? Somebody throw a number out, not except the people that know the answer.
20%.
10 people. The number's 10. That's a travesty when you think about it, right? Then he threw another stat at him. He says, what's the one element or the one reason people choose not to go from the church to the cemetery? What's the one element that helps people make that decision? What is it? Time? No. But you know the answer. Anybody else? Fear? No. Why do people choose not to go to the cemetery? Why do people decide, oh, I'm going to go to church, to the party, and not celebrate that person's last moment above earth and watch them go to the final resting place? The weather. The weather. If it's raining, if it's snowing, it's too cold, they choose not to go to the cemetery. So he said, what he learned from that, he said this. He was a guy that worried too much about what other people think. So the next time he was getting ready to do something, make a decision, and he started worrying about what others think, he said, the next time I do that, I'm going to think about the people I'm with. I'm going to say to myself, 1, would they cry at my funeral? And 2, would they even show up at the cemetery? Wow. If the answer is no to those questions, then why worry about what others think? Do what you're supposed to do, be who you're supposed to be, and go live the life you're supposed to live. And that's what it's all about. So when you guys leave here today, I want you to think about this stuff, and I want you to wake up tomorrow morning, ask yourself that question, you know, am I willing to die my false self to be truly who I am? So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You know, keep coming, keep telling people about it, you know, and it's keep networking. So thank you for coming out.